This week on Winchester's Deadly Passion, Melissa Bachman heads to Prince of Wales Island in hopes of calling in another big Alaskan bear. After numerous stalks and some close calls, Melissa has the attention of a huge dominant boar who has no intentions of backing down. With little to no cover, she's in the wide open, and this bear is looking for a hot meal and is locked in on her.
This week, I'm up in Alaska hunting Prince of Wales Island. This is one of the best places to take black bear in the entire world. There are more black bear on this island than almost anywhere else. And you know what I'm doing? I'm hunting them spot and stock with my bow, hunting a predator at eye level in his territory.
The great thing about Southeast Alaska and these black bear hunts is it's a do-it-yourself, non-guided hunt. Any hunter can come up and do this in the spring. And the great thing about Southeast Alaska is this is all public land. I mean, you can close your eyes, point your boat in any direction, and there's probably a 98% chance you're going to hit state-owned land and a place that you can hunt. It's a great experience, and it offers a lot of opportunity for anybody to come do this.
When you're using a really big boat, well, it can be tough to maneuver, so you want to get to places where the big boat can sit out in the middle, watch the flats, then use your skiff to get in on shore and get to the places you need to be. And a lot of this bear hunting, especially in Prince of Wales, well, it comes down to planning. You're gonna see bear on the beaches. You're gonna see bear on the grass flat. You're gonna see a lot of bear. But what you have to do is find bear that are in areas that you can stalk them. Now, one of the first things we would do when we saw a bear, basically take our binoculars and try to make a plan. Figure out what's gonna be the best place to hit shore, how are we gonna get there, and look at the terrain. Okay, so that bear's just right over this edge. You think if we stay just tight to this,
Yeah.
should be able to get in?
We'll get up in this grass line.
It's going right in, perfect.
We'll stay, and once we get to the corner, though, we'll be able to see him.
Looks like there's water there too to keep our noise down. Well, let's do it. Black bear have terrible eyesight. If you can get the wind in your favor and keep sound to a minimum, you can get within bow range of any black bear. If they put their head up and sense something's there, simply stop moving. As soon as they go back to feeding, make your bold move. This is a great way to use their senses to your advantage. The one thing I'm seeing is the terrain is totally different on the ground than it looks like in the boat. I'm crawling through streams, all sorts of things to get close to this bear. Things you could never see from the boat, but encountering on a step-by-step basis. The best way we decided to get close to this bear is do it in increments. It's baby step by baby step by baby step. Get 20 yards, then decide what's next. We've got this bear right around the corner. We're gonna kind of go in and out of the timber, try to get within bow range. He's right by water. I hope we can do this. As we inch in on this big boar, my heart is pounding. We are cutting the distance and it looks like we're gonna be within range. Once we got to the spot we had picked out, we're only 39 yards from the bear. This is a doable shot with archery gear. I've practiced this time and time again. Now I just need to calm my nerves and make the shot. My arrow goes about 1.5 feet low and to the right. All that work, a huge stock, to end in a miss. That is disappointing. So what happened? Well, the best we can figure is crossing the Clarence Strait, driving in the boat, something got knocked ajar. So the best thing to do, get that boat sighted in and make sure everything's working. A couple minor adjustments and we were back on our way looking for another big bear.
Winchester's Deadly Passion is presented by Winchester Ammunition, Thompson Center, Cuddyback Digital, Bond Pot, Cabela's, She Outdoor Apparel, and Hunter Safety System.
Alaska is one of these remote places that is absolutely beautiful. I don't care if there wasn't a single bear here, it would be worth the trip just to see the scenery. You've got beautiful mountains, still snow on a lot of them, and vast, vast waters. Now Jason and Vince are friends of mine that live in the Ketchikan area, and they have a huge boat that we get to go out on. Now what I like the best about it, we get to go back and forth on that boat, hunt all day, and come back to Ketchikan in the evening. In fact, Ketchikan's probably one of my favorite places to go to. Now, of course, yes, it's built for a lot of tourism. It's built for the big cruise ships that come in. But as being a bear hunter and a girl, well, there's a lot of cool places to check out, walk down the streets, and just see how cool the area is. A couple things you can count on in Alaska. Number one, you're gonna see a lot of bear. Number two, you're probably gonna eat pretty well.
Oh, I think my eyes might be bigger than my belly, but...
And we made sure of that. We decided to throw on some crab traps, and boy did we put them to good use. Now they have Dungeness crabs up there, and they are excellent. We would throw over our crab traps, do a little scouting, a little hunting, come back and check them, and let's just put it this way, we had some excellent meals.
And there are 6.
We were basically living like kings, eating crab, watching for bear, and having the time of our lives. Hunting the shores can be really difficult. There's a lot of land to cover, and that means a lot of glassing. So you need to learn how to selectively glass. On this trip, I'm looking for green flats with black spots. Now there's a ton of rocks out here that look like bear. I will be the first to tell you that. But you need to find a black, shiny spot and watch it for a minute. The second it moves, now it's time to make a stock. A lot of people say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, we have just spotted a big old boar, huge head, big body, but he's all rubbed up. Now this is decision time. Do I want to go ahead and pass this boar just because he's missing a little fur? I don't think so. Archery hunting, you need to make stocks. Every single stock can be a huge help later on, even if it's not successful. So I decide I'm going for this boar, rubbed up or not. We start in for a long stock, getting closer and closer and closer. Whether he's missing fur or not, my heart is racing. Now there's no turning back. I decide this is a mature, big bear, and I want to cut the distance down at least by 20 yards. I'm just not comfortable with a 60-yard shot, and I want to take at least 20 more yards off. Well, that last 20 yards, that's the most difficult. That's where things go wrong. In this case, I saw no cover between us. It's gonna be a stock in the wide open, and this bear, he's a little nervous. He may not be the biggest one out there, so any twig that breaks, well, he's probably gonna dart out. That was close. He was pretty rubbed up on the side and whatnot, but it's pretty hard to pass up a big old bear like that when you're in archery range. I was so close, 60 yards, but I'd just really like to get him inside 40, and it can be done. It won't work every time, but hopefully next time.
Tip of the week is brought to you by Can-Am. The facts say a lot, but the ride says it all.
When you're looking eye to eye with a big black bear, you want to have complete confidence that your broadhead will perform. I've been shooting Rage broadheads for years, and I've had incredible success. First, you can't ignore the cutting diameter. I've got the new Rage Extreme, and it has a 2.3-inch cutting diameter. With the sweeping blade design, well, this is one great penetrating broadhead. I've taken some pretty big animals with the Extreme, and the blood trails were remarkable. A red stag in New Zealand, a kudu and warthog in Africa, and numerous others, all with the same incredible results: giant blood trails. One of the first things you'll notice is the great long-range accuracy, which is one of the most important aspects of a broadhead in my opinion. A lot of people shoot expandables because of their great accuracy, yet shy away from them because they're afraid of the blades opening on the stock or in their quiver. With the new Rage Extreme, they've designed a shock collar that keeps the blades contained until the moment of truth. There's no opening up in your quiver or during a stock. So now you get the best of all worlds.
Winchester's Deadly Passion is presented by Swarovski Optic, North American Hunting Club, Rage Broadheads, Matthews, Can-Am, Wildlife Research Center, and Hot Mox.
Now, not only was this trip fun because I got to be around friends, but I was also lucky enough to bring my younger brother, Aaron. Now, he is very close, and we've hunted together since we were little kids. We've grown up doing it together. And in fact, this was his second trip to Alaska as well. I brought him along the last year, and he was able to shoot a bear before I even got mine. So he was a little spoiled already, but he fell in love with Alaska immediately. It's a place that you just get hooked on. We had spotted a bear. In fact, he spotted a bear, and he just decided, you know what? No cameras this time. I want to go after this bear by myself. Well, I couldn't argue with him. I brought him along to have some fun. So he took off after the bear and ended up taking a beautiful bear. And the cool part is, well, he was one of the first people on the entire trip to get a bear and really set the bar quite high. But I really enjoyed just seeing the happiness in his face, spending time up in Alaska. The bear, that was just a bonus. He was enjoying just being in Alaska. As a bow hunter, persistence can be the key. A lot of times, you can't be successful the first stock, the second stock. It may take 10, 12 stocks to finally get within range and have everything come together. Well, that can be a very tough time. We have made a ton of stocks on this trip. It's extremely fun, it's exciting, but it can get frustrating. Something seems to always go wrong. The coves, the wind swirls. Once that wind swirls, the bear are gone. Sometimes we get out, make the stock, and the bear simply disappears. There's nothing we did, he just got sick of eating. This can make it difficult and tough, but you gotta keep your head up and keep trying. Eventually, I can only hope it'll pay off.
When you hit shore, some of the most difficult parts are the first 50 yards. You're walking on basically broken glass and popweed. Now what this is, it's kelp. And that noise right there, that'll bust any bear. To make matters worse, every rock is loose. They're ready to come out from under your feet, and they're covered in shells. It sounds like you're walking on Rice Krispie treats. So what's my advice? Go from big rock to big rock. Try to get through it as quickly and quietly as possible. Head to the green grass, and then you're home safe.
Not only is Alaska beautiful, but it is a game-rich environment. You will see things that you may never have thought you'd see. One of the very first things we spotted, well, a whole bunch of seals. Now that was pretty cool in and of itself, but next, well, we spotted a wolf. Now this guy, well, he looked a little bit scruffy, but to be up in Alaska and see a wild wolf out there, it was a pretty neat experience, and it's something that you probably don't see every day. When you're hunting black bear, shot placement is super critical. You want to make sure that you're making really good shots. It's a dark animal, and especially when you're bow hunting, you want to know exactly where that arrow went, or you could have a serious problem on your hands. What I like to do, I like to use Luminox. And no, not just because these ones are pink and they match my arrows. They also come in orange and several other colors as well. But what a Luminox does is light up your arrow the entire way to the bear. That way, even on the darkest hide, you know exactly where that arrow hit and can make your plans accordingly. If you make a bad hit, you need to make sure you wait, or your life could be in that bear's hands. So make sure to put something on, whether it's white wraps, Luminox, or whatever you choose. Just make sure you watch where that arrow hits and make your plans accordingly. Good hit or bad hit, make sure you make the right decision.
We've got a bear spotted about 500 yards up. He's on a grass flat eating. I don't see him going anywhere. We're going to try to get in the dinghy, head up there, find a good place on shore. The wind should be right in our favor. I'm going to grab my stuff and we'll head out. We've got a nice bear spotted right in this little grass flat in a back cove. All the last coves, the wind's been swirling, but we got a pretty steady headwind coming on, so this is the 10th stop. Maybe it'll be the one.
Our biggest challenge is getting to the top grass. There's kelp, there's shale, everything that can make a ton of noise. All I'm thinking, if we can get to the top and to that grass, we should be in the clear for sound. The wind's in our face, so our smell should be undercover. Now, all we need to do is move to the point, a point where we can see the vast open below and see where this bear is headed.
I don't think we speak to that bear. The wind's right. I mean, it's blowing hard in our face.
The best wind we've had in the cove yet.
We still have a cove around here that we haven't seen yet, and that bear is heading that way. This might be a good opportunity to try predator calling him if we don't see him. So it often works. This bear isn't spooked, doesn't know we're here. I think he just sauntered into the timber and is getting ready to lay down for the day. He's been eating. Just be careful on this popweed. You have to just go slow, get up there and get set up, and we'll make it happen.
I haven't seen this bear since we first spotted him in the boat, so I have no idea if he's eased his way back into the forest or if he's out in plain sight and we just can't see him yet. We get to that bottom part and there's still no bear. I'm looking around, Jason's looking, and we can't spot a thing. After a little discussion, we decided this is probably the perfect time to use a predator call. Jason pulls out a piece of surveyor tape. We didn't have time to get a predator call, and this is a huge logging area, so there's surveyor tape all over. He starts making the predator noise, and I'm looking. As Jason's making the squealing sound of a distressed deer, I hear something in the trees. This isn't where I was expecting. This is about 25 yards even closer. The next thing I know, I've got a boar busting through the woods looking for whatever's squealing. This bear had death in his eyes. He's coming straight out, and there isn't a fear in the world. My first instinct, get to full draw. I draw my bow right as I see him as he's stepping up. I didn't want too much movement while he's coming on to us. Well, this wasn't a factor. This bear is locked in and on his way. Every step he's getting closer, and every step it feels like I've been holding this bow forever, and this guy's still cutting the distance. I started with my 30-yard pin, and now he's in about 20 yards and still coming. I need to make a decision. Do I let this bear keep coming in closer, or do I take a frontal shot? On a big animal like this, I would never want to take a frontal shot unless that's your only option.
Put it right under his chin. He ain't looking away. He's on us. He's draining blood. He's draining blood. He's going down. You got him. He's draining. He's draining. Was that the cool? You're never gonna do another hunt like that again in your life, girl. That was perfect.
That was absolutely incredible.
Now with bow hunting, you never want to push an animal. I would rather be safe than sorry. So right now, I made the decision, let's wait it out. Let's take an hour. I'm sure this animal is down, but I don't want to push him into this thick brush any more than we would have to.
Well, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes back at our blood trail. I'm assuming he's probably right around the edge.
You can tell he's hurt because he's not taking the natural trail in here. He's just going through stuff. And he's bleeding good.
After about 150 yards of walking, I started getting a little nervous. This bear is losing a ton of blood, but I'm not seeing him. Now, a big boar like this, it can take a lot to put him down. I made a good shot, but you just never know. As we eased in through the jungle, there he was.
There he is right there.
Holy smokes. Oh my goodness. Look at the coat on this guy.
Man, that is a great bear.
Not a rub on him.
He hasn't been out of the den long. He must have just started hitting the grass flats. He's just come out of the mountains or out of his den somewhere here in this rainforest.
Look at the size of that head. What a beautiful way to bow hunt. That is, tell you, the intensity level from sitting over bait and then having him eye level right in line with you.
That was 0 to 100 in about 5 seconds when he cleared that brush.
Got a big old muzzle on him, wide head. Absolutely beautiful bear and a perfect coat. We're seeing some of these are rubbed up a little.
This hair is over his nails. I mean, he didn't come out of the snow. I mean, he's probably been in here somewhere in this old growth. He's perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful animal.
Coming up next week on Winchester's Deadly Passion, Melissa logs the hours in Montana and Illinois in hopes of getting close to some big whitetails. Food plots are the key factor in both her early season Montana hunt and her late season Illinois hunt. However, Melissa gets an eyeful in Illinois as she watches a giant 200-inch buck feed in the field, and suddenly a pack of coyotes push this giant buck right to her.